Welcome to your daily stock market summary from MarketSnap. Hey everyone, I'm thrilled to be back with you to break down an absolutely wild day in the markets. We've got a lot to cover, from a massive rebound in the major indexes to geopolitical twists driving volatility and some standout movers in the tech space. So, grab your coffee, let's dive into what's shaping the financial landscape for us long-term investors, while also keeping an eye on the short-term waves. First up, the big story of the day is the market's reaction to President Trump's latest announcements at the World Economic Forum in Davos. After days of tension over potential tariffs tied to a Greenland deal, Trump eased fears by ruling out military force and announcing a framework agreement with NATO, while also backing off planned tariffs on European allies. This pivot sent a wave of relief through Wall Street, reversing the heavy selling we saw earlier in the week. For us long-term folks, this is a reminder that geopolitical headlines can create noise, but they often resolve without derailing the bigger picture. Still, in the short term, this kind of volatility can open up buying opportunities if you've got dry powder ready. Speaking of the market's response, let's check the major indexes. The Dow Jones surged nearly 700 points, a solid 1.2% jump, while the S&P 500 climbed over 1.1%, and the Nasdaq wasn't far behind with a 1.2% gain. Even the Russell 2000, representing small caps, outperformed with a 2% pop. This broad-based rally shows risk appetite roaring back after Tuesday's sell-off. For long-term investors, this kind of recovery signals resilience, but keep an eye on whether this momentum holds or if it's just a short-term relief bounce. Zooming in on the S&P 500, we're seeing it hover just below key technical levels after today's bounce. Analysts are noting that market timers jumping out after Tuesday's drop could actually be a bullish signal, one of the strongest since 2000. For us, this is a cue to stay disciplined. Don't chase the rally, but don't panic on dips either. The broader trend still looks constructive for patient capital. Over on the Nasdaq, tech stocks led the charge today, rebounding sharply after Trump's comments calmed nerves. Chip stocks in particular were on fire, which we'll get to in a moment. This index is heavily weighted toward innovation-driven companies, so for long-term investors, it's a core area to build exposure, especially on pullbacks. Short-term, though, volatility remains high, so position sizing is key. Let's talk winners. Among large caps, Intel stole the show with a nearly 12% surge, followed by Advanced Micro Devices up close to 8% and Micron Technology gaining over 6%. This tech strength ties into broader optimism around AI and semiconductor demand, especially after Trump also championed nuclear energy as a manufacturing and AI fuel source at Davos, lifting related sectors. For long-term portfolios, these names are worth watching as they're at the forefront of secular growth trends. Short-term, though, expect some choppiness as valuations are stretched. On the flip side, not everyone joined the party. Among large-cap losers, Reddit dropped nearly 7%, while AppLovin and Kraft Heinz each shed around 6%. These declines seem tied to company-specific concerns rather than broad market fears, with Kraft Heinz notably hit by news of Berkshire Hathaway potentially unwinding its stake. For us long-term investors, these dips can be a chance to research and see if the fundamentals still stack up, especially in consumer staples like Kraft Heinz, where stability often trumps growth. Looking at the market movers, Nvidia continues to dominate trading volume with a solid 3% gain today, while Tesla also saw heavy action, rebounding nearly 3% on optimism around robotaxi updates and energy storage projects. Apple held steady with a modest uptick, maintaining its heavyweight status. These names are core to many long-term strategies, especially for growth-focused investors. In the medium term, keep an eye on Tesla's delivery updates. They could swing sentiment fast. Diving into the most active stocks by volume, Intel and Nvidia topped the list as expected, alongside names like Netflix, which slipped a couple of percent post-earnings despite heavy trading. Immunity Bio also saw significant activity with a 7% jump on FDA talks for a key drug resubmission. High volume often signals institutional interest, so for us, it's a heads-up to dig deeper into these stories for potential portfolio additions over the long haul. Shifting to earnings, it's a packed week with some heavy hitters reporting. Today we saw results from Netflix, which narrowly beat expectations, but saw shares dip on mixed investor reactions and news of a potential Warner Bros. Acquisition. United Airlines, on the other hand, soared after reporting record revenue and raising its outlook. Looking ahead, keep an eye on reports from 3M, Johnson & Johnson, Procter & Gamble, and Tesla in the coming days. These results can set the tone for their respective sectors, so for long-term investors, they're critical data points to assess durability of earnings growth. Short-term, expect some price swings as the market digests guidance.
Get exclusive AI summaries of every earnings call. No more reading hours of transcripts. Access revenue segmentation, 5-year analyst estimates, SWOT analyses, and full financial statements. Plus track upcoming earnings, dividends, and market events with MarketSnap's calendar app. Create a free account at MarketSnap.com.
Over the past week, some large-cap gainers have caught attention. Expand Energy skyrocketed over 447%, an outlier for sure, while United Microelectronics and Hecla Mining posted gains of over 20% and 19% respectively, tied to energy and materials strength. These moves highlight pockets of opportunity, but for long-term strategies, such rapid gains often warrant caution unless the fundamentals justify the hype. On the weekly losers side, Constellation Energy dropped over 12%, with Robinhood and Reddit also down double digits. These pullbacks seem driven by sector rotation and specific headwinds rather than systemic issues. For us, they're a reminder to focus on quality over momentum in the long run, though short-term traders might see these as contrarian plays. Sector-wise, energy led the pack over the past week with a 1.9% gain, followed by basic materials up nearly 1%. These areas are benefiting from geopolitical stability signals and commodity strength. For long-term investors, energy remains a hedge against inflation, though cyclical risks mean you don't want to overcommit. On the other end, technology took a 3.5% hit over the week despite today's rebound, with real estate and consumer cyclical sectors also lagging. This rotation out of tech reflects some profit-taking after a strong run, but for us building wealth over decades, these sectors still hold core growth potential if you buy on weakness.
MarketSnap brings everything long-term investors use daily into one clean, fast platform. Explore stock financials, SWOT analysis, valuation ratios, 5-year analyst estimates, and our intrinsic value calculator, built with real fundamentals, not hype. All in a layout that's simple to read and ridiculously fast to navigate. And when you want to talk investing, join Nexus, our community where investors share valuations, posts, and stock discussions, all connected directly to the data. Use our stock's intrinsic value calculator to run and save real valuations with no spreadsheets. Share your analysis and valuations with others in the Nexus community. Get daily market summaries in video, audio, and article formats. Track the market with our earnings, dividend, and economics calendar. Our homepage gives you a real-time market overview with interactive heat maps, top market movers, and major index performance at a glance. Track daily performances, discover the most active stocks, and analyze performance across different timeframes, from weekly to yearly trends, and see which industries are leading or lagging. It's free to create an account, with optional access to premium forward-looking data. Try it now at MarketSnap.com and invest with clarity, not noise. That's a wrap for today's stock market summary from MarketSnap. Thanks for tuning in, and make sure to stick with us for daily updates and deep dive SWOT analyses to keep your investment strategy sharp. Whether you're navigating short-term turbulence or building wealth for the long haul, we've got the insights to help. See you tomorrow.